Yeah, there's that little snippet that you saw. Plus, I do have an episode I did with Mercedes, I believe, when she was on the podcast. That podcast still, and that was I want to say back maybe the 50s, somewhere around there. We did this series of this versus that, and one of them was safety versus protection. And the idea here is safety is when we say safety, we don't mean literal environmental safety. And when it comes to the polyvagal theory, we mean biological safety, that you're accessing your safety state. So the biology for safety is turned on, we'll say, okay? So that comes from being in a safe environment. Yes, that comes from having safe relationships and being around safe people. Absolutely, receiving cues of safety from people. So that's what we mean when we say safety. That makes sense, right? Protection, a feeling of protection is not the safety state where you that is turned on. A feeling of protect, or maybe a little bit. I can't gauge these things. I don't know, but basically, the feeling of protection for me. The way I'm framing it is that we exist in a defensive state, flight, fight, shutdown, freeze, whatever it is. So we exist in that state, and maybe when we're around a certain person, we feel less danger, but we're not accessing safety. So I did an episode that came out, I think it was Tuesday, and the question was how a therapist had written to me, and he said, how do we prevent clients from being dependent upon safety cues? And the situation he gave was someone who's afraid to go outside. When they're around a certain person, now they can go outside. How do I prevent them from being dependent upon that person? So, from the idea here, if we apply this safety versus protection thing, is maybe they're feeling actual safety and they're able to go outside with that person and smile and hug and laugh and actually have safety biology activated. But they might just be like white knuckling it or grinning and bearing it, where they're like, I hate this, I can't do it, but you're with me, so I feel less crummy. And that's so maybe that is a little bit of safety, but that's not the same as smiling and laughing and hugging. It's a lot different. And so I think that protection is you kind of feel less defensiveness, but you don't actually feel safety. And the actual biology of it, and if things are turned off or on, I'm just kind of speculating. That's the way I'm framing it. That's the basic idea. Hey, this is Justin. Just want to interrupt real quick and tell you about a course of mine called Building Safety Anchors. In Building Safety Anchors, it teaches you how to identify what safety is for you, but also identify like what brings you to safety. And it also teaches you how to make a practice out of that so that you can actually build your capacity to feel safe. We have to have our biology for safety active in order for us to do all those wonderful things like social engagement and critical thinking and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, building safety anchors on justinlmft.com. Yeah, if safety is more than just a feeling, it's all these behavioral potentials that we have that get unlocked once those biological pathways are active. So, like I said, hugging and smiling and laughing, you can't do that unless those biological pathways are actually turned on. Okay, so it's not just a feeling; it's also it's biology. I think, yeah, especially for kids who need and require and are due actually safe parents and trustworthy parents, and just the good enough parents. Kids need that, but I don't know how often we actually get that. And I think as a human species, we're still evolving in our parenting, and or maybe we lost it along the way. But yeah, so yeah, I think kids quickly learn how to get their needs met, and that might be to just stuff it down. And that might be a feeling of protection. I would actually say that's pretty accurate. A feeling of protection versus actual safety. I work with a lot of kids that are in gangs, like family history of gangs, and they protect each other, but they don't actually connect. They do love each other, but they don't connect. They're not vulnerable. They don't co-regulate. It's a lot of danger cues, but they protect each other, and so there is a feeling of protection, maybe comfort and protection. I don't think that's the right word though, and but not safety. They don't actually feel, not just feel, but the biological aspects of safety and co-regulation. I think yeah, that common cause or that common authenticity that with like shared history, shared experiences, maybe or similar enough, that can absolutely bring shared values. Oh heck yeah, All these things I think can bring a sense of protection. And in my mind, this could look like, the people in Portland. This could look like a church with a shared cause slash enemy slash value system. This could look like police banding together. We're going out in the world that's dangerous and it's us against the world. This could look like gangs that are sharing a common enemy and value system. Yeah. But none of these are like safety, protection. None of these are potentially. They could be. Not maybe not all these things, but none of these are actual safety co-regulation. Do they come along with co-regulation? Do they come along with a welcoming smile and eye squints? Do they come along with safe distance and vocal prosody? Do they have all of these things are cues of actual safety, right? So you can welcome somebody into a very toxic environment and say, "Hey, you're one of us. Let's get the bad guys or whatever." But that's not safety. That's just banding together and sharing defensiveness. I don't know. This is all like new words or new. I haven't tried to talk about these things, so we're coming up with concepts and words as we talk here. So that's not safety though. Safety is because, like I'm saying, like you could have a church that is extremely angry, and you could have that pastor with the wide eyes, and he's yelling or she's yelling or they're yelling, and we got to get them, and our livelihood is at risk. All those things, and the church can band together and say, yes, that's true, and we need each other, and we feel protected in this environment. But you could also have that church where the pastor is very welcoming and gentle and loving, and you just kind of feel it from them, right? So, but the second person, they have those safety cues in my or they're extremely sociopathic and manipulative, and they can fake it. that could be a possibility as well. But just for those two like polarities, one of those is clearly more of a protectionism, more of a banding together, tribalism kind of thing, and one of those is going to be more of a we share, we're together, we're co-regulating. But yeah, maybe we do have shared values. That's not wrong at all. But I think it's the flavor of it, And just like AA, you could have any environment where it's like protectionism, or any environment where it's more of a safety, co-regulative, connective kind of thing.